Hello dear ladies and gentlemen, a very good warm welcome to Jamuna Television. I'm your host 𝗥𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 and today we have a very special guest among us. Today we have His Excellency 𝗖𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁, the Honorable Ambassador of South Africa in Bangladesh, Nepal and India. And we are very excited because he is joining us. Excellency, welcome to Jamuna Television. How have you been?
I'm good, Ahmed. Thank you first of all for having me on your program. It's a great privilege to be here in Dhaka and to be interviewed by you this afternoon.
Thank you, Excellency. It's our also pleasure. So, Excellency, we have a lots of questions to ask to you. At the very beginning, I would like to ask about one particular issues. You know about the 𝗔𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗀𝗃𝗁 or July movement, as we called. So, how you will evaluate this July uprising?
Well, look, we observed the developments in Bangladesh, and as a fellow sister country, we call upon the authorities to deal with the challenges they currently face within the rule of law. Bangladesh, like South Africa, is a member of the United Nations. We are signatories to a number of UN conventions. We also deeply respect the UN Charter and its provisions, the Human Rights Declaration and its provisions. So we would expect the authorities in Bangladesh to address the challenges in an open, transparent way, in an inclusive way, that all sectors of Bangladeshi society is part of a process in addressing the challenges that are on the table, and to do so in an inclusive manner and within the rule of law. I think as countries that are vibrant democracies, Bangladesh, like South Africa, is a vibrant democratic society, and all of our societies believe in ensuring that all members of society, their respective views are incorporated in finding a solution within the provisions of the Constitution of Bangladesh. So as South Africa and as a friendly country to Bangladesh, we stand ready to share our own experiences. As you know, we have come from a very painful past, a very divided society, and we still share many challenges in society. You will recall that our founding father of South Africa, President Nelson Mandela, he visited Bangladesh in March 1997 to celebrate the 25th anniversary of your independence, and at the same time to thank Bangladesh for your support in our freedom struggle, and also to thank Bangladesh for being one of the first countries to establish formal relations with the new South Africa. And while he was here in Dhaka, he also mentioned that we have common challenges of poverty, underdevelopment and inequality. So you have the very same challenges, and it is these factors that creates challenges in societies. And we have to address these. We have to look at the root cause of what creates unhappiness amongst our people. And you will find inevitably it is poverty, it is underdevelopment, it is inequality, and it is not dealing with society inclusively. So I think we have to address the root causes in all of our societies that we as developing countries and countries of the global south face. We have very similar challenges, and it's important that we interact with each other, share experiences, and see how we can learn lessons from each other in building more resilient, inclusive and democratic societies.
Excellency, that's very insightful remarks, of course, and indeed. But the thing is, how you will evaluate the current state of two countries like Bangladesh and South Africa?
Look, on the bilateral front, when President Mandela came to Bangladesh in 1997, we signed the agreement to formalize the strategic bilateral relationship we have. And over the past 2 decades plus, our relationship has grown from strength to strength. Bangladesh established a full embassy in Pretoria, and we had promised that we'll open an embassy in Dhaka when President Mandela was here. We are still wedded to that ideal. that when the financial situation is conducive and budget allows, we would like to have a full embassy in Dhaka. Bangladesh is an important developing country, not just in Asia and South Asia, but globally. You are very active on the global front. You became a member of the new development bank of the BRICS configuration. You were one of the first countries to be admitted as a shareholder. And that, I think, demonstrates Bangladesh's commitment to working with the Global South and also working with South Africa and other BRICS countries and the global community in terms of strengthening our presence on the international front.
So, Excellency, as you have mentioned about some positive insights like that, you're very eager to open a full embassy here in Bangladesh. So, is there any particular timeline?
Timeline will depend on budget, and as you know, internationally, the global community is facing financial constraints because of the poor performance of the global economy, the financial strain that we experience on the international front. So I'm sure that once the situation is conducive for us to have better funds available, this is one of, if we open any embassy in Asia, it will be in Bangladesh.
But the Excellency, as you mentioned, that Honorable President Nelson Mandela visited 1997. So we are expecting something more from the Bangladesh perspective. That is there any possibility to make another high-level visit here from South Africa to Bangladesh?
Look, over the years, we have had high-level visits of our ministers, deputy ministers, members of parliament, exchange visits on both sides.
Extreme high-level visits.
Yes, yes, we would like to see that. When I met President 𝗖𝗲𝗹𝗵𝘁𝘀𝗶 this afternoon to present my credentials, that's something I mentioned to him. We'd like to see him visit South Africa, and he's showed a great deal of keenness that he's never been to South Africa, and he has a desire to visit the country of Nelson Mandela. So we'd like to see high-level visits from both sides.
Thank you, Excellency, for your insights. And let's talk about cooperation, bilateral cooperation, how we can make it so more stronger. So regarding that perspective, you know that investment is one of the key priorities or key issues. So do you have any plan to invest here in Bangladesh?
Well, I think this is one of the issues we discussed with the President during the credential ceremony. We discussed it with the Foreign Secretary when I met him this afternoon. In the meeting I had with DG Africa, this was the first issue that we discussed. Because I think the strength of any relationship between countries is not just the political relationship we have, but perhaps even more important is the relationship between our peoples and especially the private sector. And I believe that there is such great potential for mutual cooperation and win-win cooperation from the business sector in South Africa. Looking at the Bangladeshi market, you are a vibrant market. You have had excellent growth of over 8% for the past decade. So you are a market of over 170 million people. That's a massive market. And you have some very vibrant sectors. Your pharmaceutical industry is globally recognized. The agricultural sector is globally recognized. What you have done in terms of rural development is lessons we can take back from Bangladesh to South Africa, producing entrepreneurs, especially from the MSME sector. This is something we can look at. Equally, South Africans, I think, have opportunities to invest into the Bangladeshi market, as much as we'd like to see more Bangladeshi businesses investing in the South African market.
But Excellency, I would like to know from you especially, as because you have achieved some remarkable experience in your life, that you have served for UN, you have served for IORA, you have served for BRICS as well. So regarding that perspective, is there any possibility to work together, Bangladesh, South Africa, in multi-platforms?
Yes, we are doing that. I recall working very closely in my capacity as the IORA focal point of South Africa, with your focal point, Rear Admiral Alam, at that stage, during the 2 years of your chairship of Bangladesh, and you did an excellent job. You brought in some very important new initiatives into IORA, and we worked very closely. Within the United Nations system, we cooperate very closely. We work closely within the NAM, we work closely within the G77, within the Commonwealth, where we are members, and also in the 𝗏𝗏𝐶𝗂𝘁𝗂𝗁𝗏 climate change meetings. We work very closely with each other because you have the same challenges that we have around climate change and transition to green energy. As much as you are focused on that, we are focused on that. Technology acquisition in terms of green energy programs. I believe that's another area where we can cooperate very closely as well.
So Excellency, as I have mentioned before, that you have got a vast experience in your life. So, so regarding that perspective, I would like to know that how we can overcome our challenges to make our bilateral relationship more stronger.
I think first and foremost, I believe both the people and leadership of Bangladesh as well as the people and leadership of South Africa, we are committed to a multilateral global system. So I think reinforcing and strengthening the United Nations system to make it more representative of the current global community. As you know, this year we celebrate 80 years of the founding of the UN. Now the world of 1945 and the world of 2025 is vastly different. So I think we as countries of the global South have to work together to reshape the evolving new global order. That we don't want a unipolar world, we don't want a bipolar world, we don't want one or two powers dictating to us on how we conduct our affairs as sovereign nations and as countries of the international community. So I think both of us have to work closely together with other like-minded countries in strengthening the multilateral order, including the WTO, the Bretton Woods institutions, and other UN agencies like the World Health Organization, as an example. It's unfortunate that today many of these organizations' mandate is being eroded and weakened because countries are not respecting the multilateral order. So I think Bangladesh and South Africa, we have the same vision, to work together, upholding fundamental freedoms and human rights. You've come out of a very painful past, and you establish a sovereign independent country, still a very young country like South Africa. So I think reinforcing the Declaration of Human Rights and ensuring that fundamental freedoms and human rights is respected and enshrined in our countries. I think this is how we're going to build strong, resilient societies. The future of a country lies with our youth, and we have to ensure that we instill the right values amongst our youth and empower them and ensure that we have jobs for them. You know, one of the major challenges we face in South Africa is youth unemployment. Exactly. But I believe this is a problem of the global South as a whole. Exactly. I'm sure your society has the same pressures. But how do we ensure that we create decent jobs for our youth? So we have to have strong economies, grow our industries, and new technologies. The world is changing. We have to ensure that we create platforms where our youth can become not just job seekers, but entrepreneurs, and create platforms where we encourage them to do this. So these are the areas I believe we need to focus in order to mitigate the challenges that we find in our society, especially our younger generation. If we don't take care of their needs, they become restless. And that's when you have dysfunctional societies and when you have challenges in societies. So I think this is a collective that we as countries of the global South must address together.
Okay. So Excellency, as you have mentioned many things, many challenges, but I would like to know particular challenges or particular focal point as you have recently joined here in Bangladesh as an honorable ambassador. So do you have any particular vision or focus to work together with Bangladesh?
Yes, one of the first things I'd like to see us is sign an MOU between our chambers, so that we have a formal structure. Once you link chambers of commerce together, business take care of itself because they're speaking directly business to business. We as government are facilitators. I'm not in the business of doing business. I need to leave that to the private sector. They understand that. But I must create the environment for them to do business. So I think creating a platform between our chambers is very important. I believe at the government level we have very good relations. That will only grow from strength to strength. I'm confident of that because we like-minded countries.
Right.
Creating platforms for our youth, our students, our academics, our think tanks. I think there can be a far more vibrant interchange in the education sector. We would like to see Bangladeshi students coming and doing studies in South Africa. We'd like to see some of our people coming here for capacity building, especially what you have done in BRAC, for example, with rural development. Now, our rural communities need assistance. You have shown solutions of how you can deal with this. I recall that when the Grameen Bank was created under your chief advisor, Dr. 𝗵𝗺𝗺𝘂𝘁𝘂𝗁, he came to South Africa. In 2009, he was the chief guest at the annual Nelson Mandela Foundation lecture. He delivered the keynote lecture. And the wife of our former president, 𝗥𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗀, Zanele Mbeki, she has a women's empowerment group. She worked very closely with Dr. Yunus Mohammed to set up similar schemes in South Africa to see how we can empower rural women. So we have had exchanges in areas where best practices have worked for you in lifting members of your society that are underprivileged, underdeveloped. So there are many areas where we can have deeper exchanges. And I think I would like to see more energy directed in those areas, including having relationship between our universities. We have a number of Bangladeshi professors at our universities today. And not just professors, I'd like to see student exchanges between ourselves.
Thank you, Excellency. Now we'll talk about a different diplomacy regarding cultural diplomacy and sports diplomacy, of course. And you know, Bangladeshi people, they love cricket very much.
Yes.
And South African cricketers are so much popular here in Bangladesh. In my childhood, I was a big fan of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, you know.
Yes, yes.
So yes, there are different kind of vibe or different kind of flavor we have, especially when we'll talk about cricket. So do you have any plan to make our sports diplomacy more stronger, or also if we talk about the cultural diplomacy as well?
Well, look, sports diplomacy is a powerful tool of strengthening relations between two countries.
Yeah.
We saw it in South Africa because under apartheid, sport was so divided. And you would have seen the movie called Invictus.
Yeah.
When South Africa won the Rugby World Cup in 1995. Now, rugby was traditionally under apartheid South Africa regarded as a sport of the white community. The black majority were not part of the rugby fraternity. But when President Mandela went onto the pitch and lifted that World Cup, all South Africans, black and white, were united. And it is sports that can play such an important role in bringing societies together, in bringing communities together. We see that so often in South Africa. Now you would know that in 2027, South Africa will host the Cricket World Cup. So again, you're going to have the Bangladeshi team in South Africa, and we have good test series between our two countries. And I think cricket can play an important role. We should look at exchange of our young cricketers between South Africa and Bangladesh, where you can have some of your young cricketers come to South Africa for skilling and training programs. And we likewise can send ours to Bangladesh as well. So sports diplomacy is something that we need to strengthen and give more attention to. And I hope during my tenure that will happen. And I am sure that as we build up to the 2027 World Cup, I'm here with two very good friends of South Africa, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 and Mr. Moulabai Masur. And I'm going to task them to work very hard to make sure that we give highlight to the World Cup that's going to take place in South Africa, and that we have a full build-up towards that, because we want to see many Bangladeshis come to South Africa for the World Cup and experience South African hospitality and visit the country. And as I've said, we'd like to see more South Africans come here as well. The other area that we can look at is coaching, cricket coaching. I think there's great room for coaching on both sides, on both sides. On cultural diplomacy, I believe that if you really want to strengthen relations between peoples, it starts with culture and food. You see, people must come and experience Bangladeshi cuisine. They must visit South Africa and experience South African cuisine. It is food that also brings people together, right? And I think the more and more we can have of that, it'll be a means of strengthening and bringing visibility to the relationship. This country is so rich in culture. Likewise, South Africa is. And we need to do more of that. Have exchanges of cultural troops. I'd like to see South African cultural troops visiting Bangladesh and exposing them to African music and culture. Our arts and our artists, to have exchange program between artists. We can arrange for Bangladeshi artists to have some residency for a short while in South Africa. South African artists to come here on residency as well. So we need to go and think more widely how we deepen this relationship and not just stick with the tried and tested. What are the new elements that we can bring into this relationship that will enrich the relationship? I always believe that you need to give visibility to a relationship. People must know, and today we live in the age of technology. There's social platforms. I like putting out tweets. I will tonight, as soon as I get the photographs of my credential ceremony with the president, I'm going to put it out on Twitter. So back home, people know that I'm strengthening this relationship. People in Bangladesh must know South Africa is present in Bangladesh. And in my other meetings that I've had with the Foreign Secretary, with the DG of Africa, with business people, your good self, this itself will bring the Bangladeshi audience. And you will share this with me, and I'm going to put it on our website as well, so that we reach out to people. And it's when people get to know of opportunities, then you see the relationship thriving. When we know little about each other, then you don't have that deep interaction. But once you get to know, as you said, we know of Bangladesh team now. I mean, your cricket team is powerful today. You have beaten the best in the world. Everyone knows Bangladesh is an established cricketing nation. Likewise, you know of South African cricketers and of our team. And that way, through sport, people get to know more about our respective countries than through our embassies. Much more. Much more.
Thank you, Excellency. I'm super delighted that you will take care of about the especially Cricket World Cup, which is going to be happening upcoming in 2027. And I hope that there will be a final match between South Africa and Bangladesh.
We look forward. We hope that will happen. And I will visit Bangladesh. After 1 year, I will come back. And you need to interview me and ask me what progress have we made in all of these things.
Definitely, I will make it.
So that we don't just talk about it. We need to start doing.
We'll make it definitely. But
and if I don't achieve, they will be in trouble.
This is my last question, Excellency, that being a professor, being an ambassador, so I think it's this kind of insights is so much important that Bangladesh is having a crisis, a big crisis we are having right now, you know, politically, economically. So it's usual being a country, so things can be going like this way, but we hope that things will be improved in near future. Do you have any particular message for Bangladeshi people, for a country like Bangladesh?
I can only draw on my own country's experience. I lived under apartheid for the major part of my life, and I saw the destruction it brought to my country. It didn't help my country move forward, it took my country backwards, based on the prejudice of race, and trying to keep the various race groups apart. You know, South Africa is a very multicultural, multiracial society. That is why President Mandela, when he became president, called South Africa a rainbow nation. Because he said it's like the colors of the rainbow. Each one blends into the other. No color can exist by itself, otherwise the rainbow will not be beautiful. So the multicultural nature of your society, the multi-ethnic nature of your society is what makes Bangladesh a special country and a unique country. It's something you need to cherish. And the other lesson we learned as South Africans is talk to each other. Even if you don't, your political views may be diametrically opposed. You may be from different political parties with different visions of what you want for your country. But sit around the table and talk to each other. It is through talking that you will find eventually a compromise path that appeals to everyone. That's how we got democracy. No one party was able to impose their view on everyone and expect success. It will never work. The reason why we have conflicts in the world today, whether it's what's happening in Europe, whether it's what's happening in Africa or the Middle East, is people refuse to talk to each other. There's never been progress and peace through the barrel of a gun, through violence. Our experience as South Africa has taught us that. So what we'd like to see happen in our sister country of Bangladesh is that all Bangladeshis come together and discuss in a very frank, robust, peaceful, open manner what is in the best interest, because you'll have to answer to the children as parents, what is the type of Bangladesh I want to give to my future generation? And the younger generation must also have responsibility as much as the older generation has. What is the kind of Bangladesh I want to build? And what is the contribution I want to make to see Sona Bangla?
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing such insightful and vibrant and positive message with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, we have got and we have shared some powerful and vibrant message from His Excellency Anil Shukla, the Honorable Ambassador of South Africa in Bangladesh, Nepal and India. And hope you enjoyed a lot, and thank you for joining us.